Okay, so 7.4, evaluating logarithmic and graphing logarithmic functions. So a logarithmic function is written as log base b of y gives me an output, okay, gives me x. The base b, okay, if it's a 10, they won't have anything written there. It will be like this, log 8, okay? And a base of 10 means I can put it in my calculator and solve. If there's not a base of 10, I have to reorganize stuff so that I can solve it, okay? And that is where we're going to run into some difficulty, because we're going to have to reorganize stuff so that we can solve. So when I have this, okay, do you notice how this says log base b of y equals x, if and only if b to the x equals y, okay? If and only if b to the x equals y. Meaning I can reorganize in the equation so that I have b, my base, raised to a power, which is my answer in this case, and then set equal to this. And so I can rearrange it so that I can solve it.
I have a question.
Okay, what?
Is the difference between the b being at the bottom versus the x being at the top? Like, where's
This is a logarithmic function, and the logarithmic function can be switched to exponential function.
Okay.
Okay? So this is exponential because I have an exponent. This is log because it says log. I can switch them back and forth so that I can solve them.
How do you say that?
Which one? This logarithmic function?
Right there.
Okay,
Well, I just
logarithmic.
said,
I still made it.
Okay. And a lot of times I have to switch something out of logarithmic function into exponential function so that I can figure out the math behind it. Okay? So we're gonna start with this one right here. It wants me to rewrite log base 2 of 8. How would I rewrite log base 2 of 8 in exponential form?
You would have 2.
2.
Okay.
Do you have this, was this set equal to something
Yes.
originally?
No.
If it's not set equal to something, then I just put a what up here?
An X.
An x. So 2 to the x equals what? Two to the x equals what? This is 2, that was 2, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to the x here. Let me do this in different colors. And then you have to the x, okay? And then it's set equal to what?
Y.
Y, which is what in this case?
8.
8. Now, that's rewriting it, and I can solve from there because I can say 2 to what power gives me 8?
3.
Oh.
That's what they're gonna start having you look at. That's why we reorganize it so that we can ask ourselves, what to what power gives me this? Or what raised to the cube gives me 8, okay? Now, let's rewrite this one here, okay? So I wanna rewrite this. What's my base? What's my b? No, what's my b?
Oh.
Your base is always your b. So 4 to what? What's my x this time? My x.
0.
Yep. So 4 to the 0 gives you what?
1.
1. Okay, because this was my x, this was my y.
So we. Okay.
Is that a true
That's-
statement? Does 4 to the 0 give you 1? Yeah. So in this case, we could rewrite it without an x because they gave us enough information. Okay? Down here on C, what is my
I don't
base?
like how this is.
What's my base on C?
So basically, this is just kind of like simplifying.
Yeah, we're rewriting so that we can solve.
12.
Okay, so my base on C is this 12 right here, yeah? What is my x? 1. So 12 to the first. And then what's my y? Does 12 to the first give you 12?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, what's my base down here on
Wait, is
D?
there gonna be one that doesn't work?
No.
Oh.
What's my base down here on D?
1/4.
1/4. So I have 1/4 What's my, x down here on D?
No, yeah, 4.
Mm-mm.
Negative 1, so we're at
Negative 1.
24.
And what's my y?
Wouldn't that, wait, wouldn't that just end up being 4?
1/4 to the
okay.
negative 1 is 4, because remember you can't have exponents that are negative,
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
he's flipping.
flip it, okay? So we're going to rewrite a lot tonight in homework, okay? Sometimes there might be an x here, sometimes there might be a y here, okay? Sometimes they're not gonna give you enough, it's just gonna say whatever, and you're gonna have an x or a y. Or they might give you everything and we're just rewriting it, okay? Now, if we want to evaluate something, can we plug something into our calculator that has a base of 4 or 5 or 1/5 or 36? Can I plug something into my calculator that has a base that's not 10?
Yes.
No.
Wait.
Your calculator button that says log
Yeah.
or natural log only is a base of 10.
Yeah.
Do these have bases of 10?
No.
Where is my base? How do I know my base is not 10?
I don't know.
Okay, it's, yeah, this little sub number is my base, right? So to evaluate these, I need to transfer these and rewrite them like this, so that I can see and ask myself, this to what power gives me this? This to what power gives me this, okay? So, let's rewrite this here. What's my base?
4.
4. What's my, x? Do we know?
No.
No. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what power, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 to what power, and then what's my y?
64.
64. So I have 4 to what power gives me 64?
Yeah, 30.
3, because 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 4. So then my answer to this problem here, okay, my answer is simply 3. That's what they're looking for when it says evaluate. But you have to rewrite it to evaluate it. Okay, start here. What's my base?
5.
5. What's my power? What's my x?
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And what is my y?
23.
Okay, now this one's a little tricky. 5 to what power gives me 0.2? 0.2 is what type of number? A decimal or a
Right.
fraction, okay? 0.2 can be a fraction, which means that this exponent has to be what type of number then? Negative, because it's gonna flip it. Well, put in 1/5 in your calculator just to play around with it, and tell me what 1/5 comes out to be.
Oh, put in 1/5.
Is it 0.2? So what power is that x?
Oh,
The answer would be what? If this flipped is 0.2, right? Then what power is this?
-1.
-1. So on the ones that you have to get a negative with, you gotta do a little math, okay? Because sometimes it might be like, if this was -2, then it would have been 1/25, right? So you gotta think backwards on those ones. Those are a little bit trickier. Okay, here, what's my base? 1/5. What is my x? We don't know, right? And what is it set equal to?
125.
Okay, so what type of power do I have to have if I went from fraction to whole number?
Negative.
Negative. Now, think about this. 5 to what power gives you 125?
-30.
Yeah, well, because 5 cubed is 125, so I'm gonna put -3 as my answer. Okay, you have to work it backwards again. Right here, what's my base?
36.
36 to the x, right?
Yes.
Equals what?
6.
6. 36 to the x equals 6. Okay, think about this. Is this number, what is this number compared to this number? It's what?
6.
It's 6 times bigger than this, right? Okay, I know that if I do 6 times 6, I get 36. So my power has to be a fraction. If I go from large to small in my answer, my power has to be a fraction. So 36 to what fraction will give you 6? Or another way of asking it is what root of 36 will give you 6?
Square.
Square root. So what power is square root?
2.
No. What? Yeah, cool. 1/2.
Oh.
All of my powers are always 1 over, all of my square roots are all of my roots are always 1 over whatever the root is you're taking. So my answer here is 1/2. Because if I take 1/2 of 36, what do I get? 6. If I take the square root of 36, I get 6. Okay, so these are the tricky ones, these 3 right here. That's why I gave you 3 tricky ones. Okay, you have to think backwards. But listen, on your homework, I need you to write it out like this so that I know that you're setting it up right, and then work backwards from there, okay? Write everyone out for me so we get in the practice of it. Cool? Now, these last ones are the super simple part of this. Because what base do I have here and here? Well, let's start with this. What base do I have there? No.
Oh, none.
You don't, if it doesn't show a base, okay, Cole, I see what you're saying. You would think it's 0 because they don't show one. But if they don't show one, it's always,
1.
no. What goes with log? What power? 10.
10.
So it's always 10 if they don't show one, which means what can I do? I can use something to solve this.
Plug the calculator.
Literally pick up your calculator. So all you have to do is press log 8. What do you get?
0.9.
So this is congruent to 0.9. So on the ones that don't have a number here, it's a 10. And you plug it in your calculator. Simple enough? With natural log, what goes with natural log? Do you remember? What power goes with natural log? We graphed it yesterday or the day before your quiz. We did graph it yesterday too on your quiz. What did we keep graphing? What button did we keep pressing? Look at your calculator.
10.
E. So natural log has a base of E, which means, once again, I can just press natural log 0.3. What do you get?
1.34.
You should get negative 1.2.
How did you get 1.3?
Huh.
Natural log of 0.3?
Oh, I didn't press.
Not log, natural log. LN.
Oh, I didn't press on. Okay.
Okay, so you get that it's congruent to negative 1.2. Okay, so these ones should be simple. When it says evaluate and there's no base that shows, that means grab my calculator and plug it in. Okay, you should like those, yes?
Yes.
That's what we're going to focus on in this lesson today. We want to break this lesson down as simple as we can get it, okay? So that's what we're focusing on today, those portions.